welcome to another episode of the Blue Honor Vlog. I'm author Kay Williams, author of op-dec Operation Deceit, the Triloquia Trilogy, and Blue Honor, a Civil War drama. Today, I just wanted to welcome in March. I'm really excited about that. As you know, I've been talking about how I've been doing stuff on TikTok, so these videos can tend to be late or not show up, etc. Hopefully this makes it on time because I'm very busy making content all over the place and working full-time, raising my daughter, etc. So it can be difficult, and a lot of people ask me, where do you find the time to write books? And right now I don't. And I'll tell you why, because an independent author has to be their own manager. They have to be their own marketer, designer, etc. There's so much that goes into this. It's a lot of hard work, and it is difficult to do this on your own if you're not doing it full time and you have to work a day job to support your craft. And the majority of us fall into that because, in all honesty, between piracy and people doubting our credentials, it is very difficult to make ends meet. Most of us, I remember very poignantly an episode of Bill Maher way back in the day, probably the aughts, and he had Michael Moore on, and Michael Moore was talking about how much he makes as a filmmaker and author, and it was about $10,000 a year. And Michael Moore by that time was very popular, and that's all he made. So he had to supplement that clearly with some kind of income, because who can live on $10,000 a year? That's below poverty wages. But people think that we're rolling in the dough, and that, stealing a copy of our book, it doesn't matter, it's not going to affect anybody. I have a daughter, it's 5 years old, that I'm trying to feed and house. People feel entitled to our work for free, even though we have to put in all of this effort, education, ability, and skill. I don't think they would like it very much if I came to their place of work and said, I demand your labor for free. Just because mine is labeled creative doesn't mean that it isn't labor. Okay. So that's a huge thing. Back in 2015, I wrote a short little article about selling books, and that is on my blog, the Blue Honor blog, named after my first book. It has nothing to do with, I remember this time on Twitter when people were trying to bully me because my website and blog, had Blue Honor in it, and they thought it had something to do with police. But, being a leftist, openly a leftist, and all of that, I was laughing, and I'm like, if you did a little bit further digging, you'd realize that that's the title of my first book, and that it is a Civil War drama. And it's called Blue Honor because of the blue uniforms that the federal military wore at the time. And also the color of Emily's eyes in the book are blue. So it is a theme, a thread that runs through. So it wasn't Blue Lives Honor or anything like that. But for some reason, somebody had absconded with that hashtag that I was using for my books and had posted a few things. It was pro-blue line, and it was getting confuddled. So that really hurts selling books too in marketing. And, had I known back in 1997 when I first started writing the book and gave it its title, through the 2000s, that was going to be a problematic title, I probably wouldn't have gone forward with that. I probably would have tried to think of something else to name it. But here we are. It's like I published that for the first time in 2009. And I'm not saying that there hasn't been a long issue with cops. There has always been an issue with police. You know, police brutality has long been an issue since they ever existed. My uncle, when I was a little girl, my aunt's husband, he's not by blood, my aunt's ex-husband was a state police officer, and I've known of issues since I was yay high. And anybody who says otherwise is being completely dishonest, completely disingenuous. But anyway, I digress. On the website for Blue Honor, if you go to June 10th of 2015, you can Google. I have a search field in there. You can look for the selling books articles that I've written. I have a bunch. I've written on a bunch of different things. And what I will do is I will link it below this video so you can get right to it from here. Easy peasy. And also on TikTok, I've done a series called What It's Like Being an Author. So I would like to just, do one of those over here, because that has a lot to do with selling books. Okay, so I wrote that article, and it talks about all the things you've got to go through, including marketing, etc. But what do you do when you're doing all of the steps correctly and you can't figure out why are people just ignoring me? I mean, it is like, it's confounding, because, us authors, independent authors, we have friend groups, etc., on social media, offline, and we discuss these topics a lot. And we're just talking about what could I be doing wrong? What is putting people off from reading my work, not finding me? And in a lot of cases, as we've recently found out with TikTok, that the algorithms are set against us. They have a focus, and it's very fickle. There's somebody that, the people behind the scenes, they like and they want to push forward, so they start pushing their videos. But they also actively suppress others. So like in my instance, because, I pointed to this before in the previous discussion about Blue, I tend to rub the powers that be possibly the wrong way. And being a leftist, there's certain topics and things. And when you're trying to socially engineer, which is what TikTok and Facebook and all of those actually do try to do, when you're trying to socially engineer, you have a focus on things in the ways that you want them to be. And, tastemakers and the powerful tend to be in control of what that is. And for lack of a better term, the ass kissers who follow them follow suit, because they want to be in favor. They want to be promoted. They want to move up. So someone at TikTok who's on the level of being able to promote their friends, promote the things they like, but they also want to do a good job so that they get promoted and they become more powerful. So there's like really a power cycle behind that. Anyway, so for me, the main issue that I face is just flat out being ignored. And it's something that I have experienced throughout my life. And there was a really great video that I saw the other day talking about ADHD people, and how people on the spectrum like myself who hyper focus on things. And I tend to be the type that hyper focuses on everything. I want to know everything. I want to have all the knowledge. I just want to keep learning and sucking it up and remembering it. And that's what I do. And that annoys people. They label people like that a know-it-all. It's not that I'm a know-it-all, that I'm trying to be like, I know all that stuff. I just happen to know something. And I may repeat it because I want to share, because I'm excited about it. There's no malice, there's no power play behind it, there's nothing like that. So that kind of like opened my eyes about one of the things that may be going on and why people tend to not, want to come this way or whatever. They see something slightly off. I remember having a conversation with a friend. It used to be a friend group, would have parties in the summer, etc., saying his wife thought that I was weird. And I'm sitting here going, what does that mean? What did I do that made her think that I was weird? Because honestly, I believe I'm one of the most normal, level-headed, kind, giving people out there. And she thinks that I'm weird on a threatening level, that she needs to distance herself from me. Like I'm some kind of predator or something. And it hurt. It hurt deeply. And I'm like, are you picking up on the fact that I am, and I was not out at the time, as being a demi? So I'm a demigender, or bigender, and demisexual, and panromantic demisexual. So I literally believe that I could fall in love with anyone of any gender. It could just happen, but it takes me time and courtship and all of these things to fall into place for that to happen. I am not outright interested in sex. So if she thought that, like, I was some kind of predator on that level, very weird, very weird. Maybe she thought I was judging her. Maybe she was annoyed by the fact that I knew things. Fuck me for knowing things. I just, it's really difficult. An author needs to know things. An author needs to know a lot of things in order to write with authority and to create really epic books. And isn't that the point? So fuck me, I guess I'm weird, right? Whatever. But these assumptions about me really reflect those individuals, not me, because they never took the time to get to know me. But, you know, that is a thing that we face as authors, is people coming in, and you have trolls online, you have people who just want to pick fights, you have people who want to make it more about themselves than it is about you. They don't want to hear about your book, or they just, you know, whatever reason, they just spot you and hate you at hello. They've not taken any time to know you, nothing. They've just made this decision. That's a them problem. Yes, but it also becomes an us problem, because they act a certain way and it kind of sends people away from us. It's like they're signaling, like, going, not this one. And they walk away and they pull people with them. So it becomes a marketing problem. There are just those people out there who are liked. For whatever reason, you know, at hello, people just rise to the top, no matter what it is that they do, say, act, whatever. They could be exactly like me, but they're liked and I'm not. You know, you could have a pair of identicals. This one's liked and I'm not. It makes it very difficult for books. And it's like the public at large doesn't want to understand and doesn't care how hard you've worked on a book. All they care about is what's in it for me. And if you find it difficult to express what's in your book that would interest them or why they should bother, you're not going to reach them. That's a huge problem. So when you have somebody come in who's not going to dislike you from go, call you weird, not bother to get to know you, not want to learn anything about your books, that person is not your audience. And unfortunately, it is very difficult because you find so many of them. And it's like very piecemeal, finding the people who want to take the time to listen to you, to watch your videos, to read your books, and to build from there. But, you know, just know that it does eventually snowball, because they have people like them and they'll talk about your work with those people, etc., etc. So it just keeps going from there. And it's kind of wonderful, but I always feel like people think, and this is something that I have talked to close friends about, I feel like when people meet me, they think that I have had an extremely privileged and easy life. I was bullied throughout school. It started in kindergarten and went straight through. People did not want to play with me. They just wanted to put me on the out and not include me. I was not popular. I was not thought of as beautiful. I was told that I was fat and ugly my entire school career. I got to college, I was virtually invisible to everyone. No one cared that I was there. People didn't try to make friends with me. I had a very small friend group for the first 2 years that I went to SUNY Morrisville. I still know them. They're lovely. And I miss that like crazy because it was such a wonderful experience. And I highly recommend go away to college, even if it's only a couple hours away. Have that time away. Become that adult and that growth in those friends. They're still my friends. I see them on social media. I miss them terrible. We're not as close as we used to be at that time. It is what it is. So the years that followed, I was invisible, walking around the SUNY Albany campus, just invisible. Very few people talked to me. I didn't make any lasting friendships. I was a commuter. There was no place to really hang out. So if you commute, it's much more difficult to make friends because you're not spending the time in the dorms and you're not on the floors and you're not there all the time and you're not going to the parties and all this stuff. You can go. It's just going to take a little bit more time to find the people who are having the parties or hanging out and stuff and whatever. I was a very shy person as well. And because I was coming out of having been so severely bullied, I was just afraid that because it had happened, just saying hello would erupt an entire session of being mocked because it's happened. And you learn from the things that happen and hurt and that you want to avoid. So putting yourself out there in later years as an author is the same thing. You go online, there's the bullies, they want to troll and ridicule and mock, and they find you and they think that, the things that they're saying, they don't care, they love it. They love it. They love making things difficult. They feed off of that. It is a sickness. It is. It's a pathetic sickness. Same thing as bullies in school. But people believing that, I've had it easy. I started working at the age of 16 at a hotel as a maid, and I've talked in other videos about my experience with sexual harassment and very frightening situations through that as a young teen. Going to college, just things that happened to me in relationships, etc. In my day job working career, I have had to struggle from entry level up to the professional level that I'm at now, and it has taken 20 something years to finally make, enough money to possibly live off of and have a house and not have to have a roommate. And writing in all of that and getting ignored and pushed aside while I'm trying to make a life for myself, and people assuming that I have everything and need to be taken down a peg or whatever it is, that I'm weird, that I couldn't possibly know these things, that, I had almost a 4.0, just 0.02 points off from a 4.0 in my graduate degree in filmmaking. And I was requested to study by the professors at the college where I got my graduate degree because of my writing skills. I was requested by them. I've had books requested by producers. I write screenplays. For people to sit there and look at me and assume I'm weird and incapable is absurd. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know why I give that off. It's amazing, to be honest with you. And like I was saying before, sometimes it is just going to be what it's going to be for you. And I'm out here going through the same things. So know that you're not alone if you're struggling to figure out why why you can't find your niche and you can't find your readers and what is even going on and what is happening. Sometimes a lot of it is just out of your control and you're having bad luck. And I don't know if there's a spell you can cast to fix it. There probably isn't, because holy karma. Don't do that to yourself. But just reflect on it. I talk a lot about that, I think, in the article. You have to figure out where your people are. You have to find them. And if they're the weirdos, those precious, talented, creative folks, find them, okay? Find the people like you. Find the people who want to listen to you and spend time. Like, I have watched on TikTok people who have started accounts virtually at the same time as me get tens of thousands of followers, while I'm struggling just to get one more. Between the algorithm squashing you because you happen to stand up for something, you know, some social issue that you care about, and promoting the vapidness that it does, and the bad luck that you have with people just hating on you for no apparent reason or making assumptions about you, it becomes very difficult. But I'm out here and I will follow you. You know, there's other authors I follow out on TikTok. One of them, Reggie Dupree, she writes novels. I absolutely love it because she'll introduce her. Hi, I'm Reggie Dupree. I write novels about women that are not so young, not so nice, etc. And it's wonderful. And I love sharing her content with others. So they tend to be fantasy, slightly romance. I believe they're romantic books. Give her a shot, man. Come on. You know? Excellent. But there's so many authors. It's like I've met editors on TikTok. I've met editors through social media on Facebook. There's a bunch that I follow. If you subscribe to my blog, you'll get once a week a blog called Open Book Blog Hop. And if you're an author and you're looking for tips and stuff, we write about writer life. So we answer questions, and it may be specifically about the publishing industry, or it may be about our lives, just questions in our lives. But it creates a community, and that's essentially what you need. You need a community around you so that you feel normal and you can see what other people are doing, what's working for them, and see if maybe that might help in your area, adapted over to your platform. But once you've focused and started building that platform, you're going to start to see things build, and it's really interesting. Like, I think I've had this YouTube probably for like forever. I think I started it in 2016 or 2017. So I'd have to check my blog because I started posting them there. Of course, I'd have to go back through and see when that exactly happened. Again, it's not getting out there. Those algorithms suck. You know, they've got people who are bringing in money, and that's who they want to promote, and they don't care about content necessarily, as long as it's getting promoted and people are liking it, people are watching it, clicking the ads, etc., etc., etc. So that's where you got to get. It's rough when all of your hard work is ignored and brushed aside. You know, look at what Vincent van Gogh went through. He wasn't popular or well respected until after he passed away. And let's hope that doesn't happen in this case. I really hope that doesn't happen to me, because my daughter needs to have a reason to carry on this legacy that I'm leaving her behind with these books. And I hope that she doesn't just let the content fade away. And I'll be gone. That'll be her decision. But it's something that she could possibly turn into, you know, an income for herself. And I want her to have that. I want her to have that control and not lose that control. Very important. You know, that should stay with her and hers. Like Christopher Tolkien took over for his dad, and then his son has his stuff. Because companies will definitely come along, and if they find something that is no longer copywritten. They'll just take it up and they'll make a gajillion bucks off of it. But you passed away, but now you're popular. So I hope that doesn't happen for any of you, and I hope that that doesn't happen for myself. But check out that article. Again, I will link that below. Don't give up. People are so strange, the way that they make assumptions about others. I know judging a book by a cover is perfectly fine, but don't judge people by what you think that you see, because that's all in your head. It has nothing to do with them. I think that if we went forward in this world and acted in that way, we would treat each other a lot better. At least in the United States, it's become an extremely cruel society that only cares about individuals, and getting ahead and squashing others, harming, power and control. It's an extremely abusive society right now, and I hope that that changes. We need community. We need one another, and we've got to come together on that. We definitely need to have more respect for the arts and for writing and for the people who create that for us, because without it, 90% of what you have wouldn't exist. The art on your walls has been created by someone. The books on your shelves has been created by someone. And now corporations are looking to artificial intelligence to take our place. And that human element will be gone. I just answered for thriller writers United. I just answered for them. A couple of surveys about that, and if you didn't see where artists were coming from before, you will start to then, when you're thinking about your own work being utilized. The way I see it with an AI picture, there's nothing left of that piece of artwork that an individual created, because it has mashed so many together. So I tend to think that if they mashed all of our writings together to try and make a book, there's no way that that's going to resemble specifically my book. That said, they could take the entirety of my catalog and stuff that into an AI and continue to write as Kay Williams after I'm gone, which is an interesting thought. Just putting that out there. But I did answer no at this time, because I'm not really sure what it all means. So until I am absolutely positive about what it all means, the answer is no. I wouldn't like my stuff stuffed into an AI and gone from there. It's not going to obviously benefit them, because people won't like the AI because they don't necessarily like me. And it's like, I don't know how that's going to work out for you. But wouldn't it be ironic if you stuffed me into an AI and spat out this stuff and people ate it up? Boy, that would be odd. That is a test I would be interested in seeing. Yeah. And then it would just call them out that they just have hyper-focused on wanting to dislike an individual for zero reason, right? And I'm like, we really need to stop that in our society. It's goofy. It's goofy. It's bullying, And it's like, quite frankly, I've had enough of it. I'm going to be 48 years old this year, and I think it's disgusting to mistreat people. And it needs to stop. So make sure you subscribe to the blog. Thank you for watching. Again, the link to how to sell books will be down below. Take a lot of this into consideration when you're thinking about your marketing. And I will see you back here next time. And hopefully you're starting to form a better platform, feeling a little bit stronger, and kind of, letting the wheels turn on things that you can do to kind of get around these blockades, because I will be doing the same thing. Thanks.